Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. There's so much going on, and it seems like it's getting more and more every week, every month. Who's telling the truth? Who's telling stories? Who's bringing what out? But I hate to say it, but we have a lot of control going over us. Like Russia's removing all the 5G towers down. All right. Now, Tina was saying they're taking a tower down near her as well. But we'll get into it. But greetings, everybody. Here's Tina Bird. Greetings, Tina.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tina Bird from Southampton in the UK, and my co-host tonight is Tommy, as always, and he's broadcasting from Hawaii. And the show tonight is the day the Earth stood still. So we've got some promising bits and pieces for tonight's show. I'll hand it back to Tommy in a sec, but you can find my book on Amazon. Sadly, the 14-day period for it being £6 is now up. Hello, John. It's good to see you. My book is now £10 on Amazon, and it's free on Amazon Unlimited, and you can find it on Amazon Kindle. One question I want to ask John or Tommy or anyone else listening. NASA's report is due this month in August. Do you know what date it was? Because we've just had their Congress hearings, and they said at the Congress hearings NASA has to produce its UFO report this month. Do you know when that will be?
It'll probably be in another week at least, because everything else is going on. But we'll hear it as soon as it comes out. But again, like I said, what's real, what's not, who's telling the truth, who's telling stories, who's making money on it? Well, the people making money are telling stories, that's for sure. But the title today is The Day the Earth Stood Still. The reason why I picked it, it was my favorite movie. It was actually filmed the year before I was born. And the year after, which was 1952, when I was born, that's when the UFO fleet of ships went over Washington, D.C. twice in a week. And that's when Mr. Truman decided he had to do something about it. People, you hear stories, but who's responsible for MJ-12? Truman is. What is MJ-12? Very few people can even talk about it. Laura Eisenhower said her mother's majestic. Find out what these people are saying. See if it makes sense to you. See if you believe it. Now, I only deal with what I know as truth for myself and Tina. I don't have people on too often because I don't know too many people that I believe in or trust, especially in the UFO world. Tina's friends with a lot of people in the UFO world. I'm not. I stopped lecturing years ago, and they're all afraid to talk to me now, which is fine. I mean, I'd like to talk to them personally. They won't even do that. I sent a letter out. I don't know if you saw it, Tina, debating, and I said, anybody, and I listed everybody's name on there. And I said, any one of you has a pair of balls, please, I'll debate you live or offline. I got an email. Guess from who? A spiritual person, Neely Diamond Walsh, and he wrote, Conversation with God. So I wrote him a long letter back. I said, if we really want to talk about real truth and things like what God talks about other than love everybody, please, anytime. But outside of that, nobody else. And he said, oh, I'm doing 2 free shows. Listen to my shows. I said, no, I don't need to. But people, if anybody out there sees this show, I don't know how many famous people actually try to watch it or listen to it, because I send it to every single one out there, whether they got the courage or the brain power, whatever you want to say, to actually watch it, would be interesting, because we don't lie, we don't tell stories. But I told them, and I send them letters, Lou Elizondo, you name it, Richard Dolan. I said, I'm paying for your sites. I said, how about you get back to me and talk to me?
Well, I think people, I've got to be honest with you, Tommy, a lot of people have just gone quiet since the UFO hearings, because a lot of people like me and Tommy's been this many more years. Tommy knows about UFOs and all the other things that go. I only know about abduction and what's happened to me and what I've seen in the sky. Tommy knows the rest, so I've got to bow down to that. That's Tommy's. He's a specialist in his field. But since these hearings last year and particularly this year, lots of people have gone like quiet, because people like me and Tommy, genuine people who've come forward, have been vindicated. It's not that we need vindicating, because we know what's true, because we've seen it. This happen. We've come forward with our accounts. But the next step was, oh, first it's UFOs, they don't believe in UFOs. And then it was, yes, but not only that, we've had bodies for many years, but yes, UFOs are real, not only they're real, they're threat, and we're deeming it took us 2 weeks to chase them down in our jets. And, oh, well, who and what's flying them? And now it's like, well, yes, they have bodies, they have this, they have this. The next step is it won't be long till they're confirming, and they've actually said that last year and year before about abductions are real, blah, 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 blah. So me and Tommy are fully vindicated. I don't see people on here saying, well done, coming forward, traumatized. So many people owe Tommy or you an apology, and they're like, "Oh, you're nuts." And a lot of people are angry because they can't really get their head around it. I think they're angry at the wrong people that the government has lied for so many years. Never mind these little cracks. Yes, people right. Yes, they're right coming forward and that. They just want to have one big announcement, tell the world. Well, basically, they have these hearings in America. Britain could do a lot more. But people like ufologists like Tommy, lifelong people like Tommy, and abductees like me and Tommy, and probably some of our viewers are abductees as well, must feel vindicated. You're not crazy. What you've seen is real. This stuff has happened, does happen, and these people's lives have been traumatized, and we are victims of abduction. So Tommy, as he's in all these years, is completely vindicated, as am I, or anyone else that's come forward. But since people have said that, no one's asking any questions, because I think people have got to chirp up with a few apologies. I think that's what we're looking at, really, Tommy, to be honest with you. Yeah, sorry.
I've been in this all my life since I was 6 years old. But when I got older, then I was being called crazy. But I'm happy to see it. I said, I want people to realize that I wasn't crazy before I died. I mean, everybody's crazy to a degree, but I didn't make up every story and dream up aliens and all that stuff. So, because most people don't even believe it's real. But I was working with ghosts, demons, and all that kind of stuff, which also was not real to most people. But there's about at least 10 shows a week about ghost busting and all those kind of things now. So it's all real, people, whether you want to accept it or not. That's your story. But you might not ever believe in a UFO if you don't see one. So I'm telling everybody, if you want to see a UFO, I'll send you my manual. It's free. It's about 200 pages. But if you want to see a UFO, it'll give you the exact steps you can do, and I promise you'll see a UFO. At least at that point, you could say, well, the UFOs are real. I mean, you don't have to say aliens are driving them yet, but at least know they're flying over us.
UFOs are real. The Americans said that they've been shooting down planes, and Russians have dead bodies, like their soldiers have been killed by UFOs. We've had near misses. They've been shooting at UFOs. They said many years ago now, and that UFOs are real. So we know they are real. It's the people and the things that are driving them, flying them, or coming to our world are real. Sorry, Tommy.
I could tell you a lot of things, but I'm not like everybody. Well, I can't say this. The government won't let me say it. I didn't work for the government. I don't work for the government, so I can say what I want right now. If they gave me $1 million, I'd have to rearrange what I say and do, but they don't, and they won't. Like Stephen Greer, $3 billion. No, another lie. But for me, all right, all my life, I didn't ask for any of this, and neither did Tina. And people need to realize when they say, oh, there's good aliens, and they talk to them and they work with them, they never helped the human race ever in history, people. Every race that was here was killed and taken out. So where do you think?
Tommy, when you next time you speak to one of these, I like to call them do-gooders, when you next time you speak to one of these people this has happened to, ask them what makes a race good and then what makes a race bad. Because if you're a spiritual person, then you're a good person. You're a good person of the human race. The human race is absolutely atrocious. We rape, kill people, kill our planet, global warming, murder people, eat animals. We polluted the world, plastic everywhere, and that makes us good. I'm frightened to see what bad human beings look like. And then again, you've got creatures that say that they're alien and love and light beings that never phone you up and say, well, we're going to come around, we're going to come invade your planet tonight. We get permission so they don't hit aircraft, don't shoot military aircraft down, come into your house, announce, they've obviously asked your parents' permission to come into your house and invited you in and ask if you want to go on a little jolly with them, because they've done all this before they've even taken you. I think not.
Well, people, like I said, I was never inside a UFO. Tina was. But for me, I was next to aliens. I was next to ships. I was dealing with women that lost their children. All those things for years. And that was in the, let's see, 52, 62, in the mid early 70s. So, people, I'm not new at this, and I'm not new at what I talk about. I was with Sergeant 18 from 1996 to 2002. We filmed more UFOs than anybody else in the United States. Ships, not dots and twisted little balls going around in the air. We also came out with orbs. We went public. We could go anywhere and film orbs wherever we were. So there's something totally different between orbs and aliens and spaceships and demons. But orbs are not just one thing. A friend of mine, Jose Escamillo's gone. He passed away. But he called things what he filmed rods. And he even used some of our videos and called them rods, but we filmed ships. But he was able to film these things going through people's bodies and things like that. So nobody's going to come down and say what they are because they don't know. And they probably never will. Because if you don't believe in something and don't care about it, you're not going to do that much investigating on it. And the government has been. And it's sad that people want to know what the government does. And this is my viewpoint. The government's doing what they have to do. All right? Protect the rich. And they got to defend the planet, which they do. And so does Russia. Russia admitted they're working with 27 alien races and 2 of them want to destroy the planet. At that point, how much is he going to tell the world? The United States cannot tell anybody what they really did with aliens. And they won't. So when these people say, well, we're going to make them talk, they're going to talk about ships and stuff, but we know that. It's like these people, oh, they really got a ship. Well, you know, what's his face? Billy Myers. When he first came out and he was showing videos and everything, everybody was harassing him and not believing it. But later on, when he was talking, a friend of mine who was also killed 2 days after he did Jesse Ventura's show, worked with Billy Myers' alien friends. And they told him, if they shoot down another ship of theirs, they will destroy the United States. They said that to him. So guess what? The United States can't shoot down a Pleiadian ship.
They did say, sorry, John, they did say at that hearing that they, I'm not sure if it was I think the Russians told the Americans that they should not be shooting at UFO ships because they have a beyond, what was it? Beyond.
Well, that wasn't the United States. But here's the thing, people.
Retaliation.
No, see, that's a stupid idea. It's like saying we go to war. Well, they got better weapons than us, so we can't fight them. No, we have the technology, and I'll tell you this straight out, people. We have the ability to take out Greys ships and Greys, reptilian ships and reptilians. We have the technology. It was given to us by an alien race, but they obviously didn't think we were going to do certain things. But it's to the point now we do have to take them out. When they had to kill all the Greys in the United States, that was a reason. People, if you want the UFO stories, read the real ones, not storytellers out there coming out now. Phil Snyder was out there live with his body talking, and he died. All right? People that come out to tell the truth. I know 16 people all disappeared, taken out. One's in the nut house, one's in jail. I mean, what they do to these people. The one worked for the Navy, and he had all the records of the UFOs, and he was going to release it. They framed him for murder. And he's still in jail. His wife and daughter goes to see him every month. But it's sad because he did not kill anyone. And just because he was going to... Now, John Ford, who's in the nut house in Long Island, they're not going to let him out either. Because his video, which I saw, is incredible. The ship's on the ground on Long Island with bodies, everything laying around it. But for 3 weeks, black trailers went in and out of there. They said, oh, there was a fire burning. Yeah, they tried to burn down the evidence where the ship crashed and came through all the trees and everything. But people, they're never going to release the total truth. Remember that. And whatever they release is 25 to 50 years old. Roswell's old. We don't need that information now. What they did in New Jersey is the most important UFO story that ever happened in the United States. But people... And you don't even know what it is. And then we got 2 people writing books and trying to describe what happened. I was there. I actually saw Tesla's private notes. He was working with DuPont in Wanakee, New Jersey, in an underground base. They flooded the city, and ships went in and out of there for 9 months while the army was stationed around it. And this is a real story, people, not somebody's fantasy or somebody's bad dream. So you don't hear that. You don't hear anything important in the UFO world. Oh, yeah, they really got ships. We can go online. You'll see pictures of ships. Not everybody's putting a fake picture. But today I pulled up a video. They said, how do you rate this video? And it's a ship flying along, right? Well, this program made this video. They're bragging about making a program that most people will believe is real. How sad is that? We don't need that kind of garbage out there because they're trying to muffle the truth from the lies. Because there's millions of videos of ships and everything else. And they're going to try to say, well, they're all fake. Not all of them, people. There's people that like to play games, say people are dead and things like that. People have no morals today. In the United States, I don't think they even know what the word morals mean. I don't know how bad it is in your country, Tina, but people don't respect anything.
There's such a news blanket. It's like fake reality news in the UK, and it doesn't even focus on proper fundamental issues anymore. So I give up. There's been a solid news blanket. It's not like news years ago. You get reported accurate news from around the world. It doesn't happen anymore. It's bad news.
In England, do they have like something like the Constitution like the United States has?
No, we don't have a constitution here in the UK, even though the founding fathers were British. Here in the UK, we have a Houses of Parliament, and they make and change laws by people we vote in. But we're just governed by laws. We have a monarchy, obviously the king at the moment, King Charles. At the moment, before it was Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II. But no, we're monarch driven, but our laws are made by Parliament. But no, we don't have a set of rules, as it were.
Before we go any further, anybody that starts listening to this video, it's live, it's recorded. Anybody that's listening to this, please send this to everybody you know. All right, I'm open for a debate with any person in the UFO world, including spiritualists, because they're in the same boat, lying and telling everybody great stories of this, that, and the other thing. We're in trouble, people. You can believe what you want. Oh, we're going to be six-dimensional beings next year. Really? We can do this. We can do that. No, we can't. If we could, we would. We still make toxic food, water, air, everything else we have.
You don't understand. We're sharing a planet. Our planet, we call this planet home. They may have called it home long before us, but we're on this planet because of something they've done. We're here. Now, we share that planet with them. They've chose to abduct people and do experiments and have hybrids, but they choose to have nothing to do with day-to-day living with us. That should tell you all you need to know right there.
See, I don't know if people out there believe in past lives and stuff, but I worked at all mine from the beginning to now. And basically, the first races of people on this planet was in Atlantis. And I called it the Garden of Eden. But aliens races came down and destroyed it. And that's when they started taking over the planet. But here's the thing, people. Why would they want this planet? They need things from us, people. Not our brains, not our love, not our compassion, not anything we think we have to offer them. We don't have anything to offer them.
They like the water on our planet. There's something in the water that they do like. I do know that. And to answer John's question, yes, Captain Kirk's right. People, are we the ones that have come from another planet here? And I think we are. And, we're here either through panspermia or, they brought us here because of something they've done. We could be the invading species on this planet and they're not happy about it. People need to start looking at the bigger picture.
Well, when he said traveling here, they're traveling here for a reason, people. All right. And realize there's hundreds and hundreds of races really close to our galaxies. All right. And they're not coming here. All right. Most races are happy with their planet. The ones that are not are the ones that leave it. Like, why are we leaving planet Earth? Because we're worried what's going to happen to the planet. We want to save ourselves somewhere else on the moon and Mars. And that's already inhabited. So, where our programs come from is pretty twisted, thinking that we're going to go to Mars and build a beautiful city there. We have bases on the moon, but so does another race does. And when we think we're going to get along with them, why? The number one thing, people, and this you really have to understand, what do aliens like to eat? And what do humans like to eat? There's a big difference right there. All right. Uh, I know certain races like certain things from here, but they also eat other things. The reptilians and the greys both eat humans, people, whether you want to believe that or not. These people that say they sat down with dinner with an alien or reptilian or a mantis, what did you eat? What were they serving you? Did they tell you, oh, this is man's whatever, or a woman? Or did they say anything? Oh, this is a deer? What did they say? What do you think they raise on their planets? What do you think they want you on their planet for? See, we wanted people for farmers and fishermen. I mean, that's what the world was created by. All right? Food's the only thing that mattered all through history. But the other thing they like is entertainment. And entertainment usually means killing and violence. So between that, there's nothing, the word spiritual doesn't fit into too much. You can go hide and make yourself spiritual. But when you come back out into the real world, you've got to deal with the real world. People, these aliens do not care about what we want. Or we want to talk to them. Why would Stephen Greer think they want to talk to us? And if they do, what do you think they're going to tell us? Oh, get a better job.
Why would you want to talk to a species that comes here under the guise of night? So a species that's coming here covertly, I'm going to want to talk to you. Otherwise, it wouldn't be coming in covertly.
Well, you know, I watched Stephen Greer when he brought his group outside and they all went into meditation. And they said, but see, you know, I watched the video recently and it blew me away because up in the mountain of Tibet, there's this temple where these people gather and they go into meditation to talk to aliens. Seriously, I watched it. And they said, well, they were given information about a major disaster. But see, people, Billy Myers came out with prophecies. Sergeant 18, who I work with, came out with prophecies. I mean, Nostradamus came out with prophecies. But they did not help the human race. If a prophecy comes out saying that this is going to be blown up tomorrow, does everybody hang out there and see if it gets blown up? I mean, like when the Trade Center, two people I know directly prophesized it in detail. All right, but they didn't go there the day that it was going to happen and try to stop people from going in there.
They showed me the end of the world, and then they told me there was going to be a war in 2022 to 2024, and that's documented in 2016-17. They told me that.
They're pretty close to that date. I feel bad, but I think they're pretty close to that date. What's happening? We're lining up for it. They're already starting to plan a draft inside the United States. So now what Russia's doing, I mean, what happened up by Alaska just last week, what's going on, it's building. Now it was Russia and China up in Alaska. All right. So there's problems building. And that's why they're thinking about reinstating the draft and getting ready for that. But people, we're not moving forward spiritually. So all these spiritual speakers coming out and talking bull. I mean, conversation with God. I talk to him, and he's going, well, okay, blah, blah, blah. No, we're not in love with each other. We don't care about each other. We have more starving, homeless, abused children than ever, ever, and ever before.
I think the human beings have it wrong, Tommy. I think you've hit it now on the head again. You know, as a human race, now they're saying that there's another species. All this in-house bickering, fighting. We need to get our own houses in order. We need to look after our people, look after our homeless, feed the people in our countries, defend ourselves better. We should not unite as humanity, as human beings. But we're not. They're keeping us either at war or bickering between us. This in-house fighting between humanity must stop.
Oh, you might find this funny or not, but Musk came out. I watched his video this morning. Mm-hmm. He's saying everybody needs to have children. It'll take the anxiety away. And I wrote back and I put 3 emails to him and I said, okay, have children. What are you going to teach them? What are you going to feed them? And what are they going to become? Program zombies to run around with AI running their lives.
Human race is in decline, isn't it?
It's sad. It is, and people are sitting back. See, now what I also said to him, it's the rich people that are going to vote to keep the rich people in power. The poor people usually say, well, we can't do anything about it, and don't vote. And that's a problem. I mean, well, my vote doesn't count. Yes, every vote counts if you're middle class or poor. And I said, there's much more poor and middle class people than rich people. So if everybody voted, the rich people wouldn't get in no matter what. Plain and simple. All right. But see, now who controls what's going on, the new world order that's happening, what's going to happen, like we said in the near future, the war that's going to happen. Now, and I could prove this, and that's why I wanted to talk to Skinwalker Ranch. There's an alien base around every army base in the United States. That I know. All right. In Vietnam, they were dealing with aliens. In the wars, they were dealing with aliens. So they were always here watching for bodies and people to take. Now, the other thing is, look at all the people go missing in the state parks in the United States alone. People, you should be a little bit concerned, not with the president, not what the army's doing with spaceships, because they're going to defend the United States when these aliens come in here in large numbers. But what's happening right now? Children and families just disappear. Oh, then that's okay? Oh, well, there's good aliens. They like us. They don't hurt nobody.
I mean, there's too much do-gooders in the world, and nothing is reported until after the fact. It's like here in the UK. There is no reports on the Ministry of Defence. There is no reports on how our military is doing. And they may report to the Parliament or the Prime Minister, but we don't get budget breakdowns. We just get blocks of bits and pieces and the Chancellor of the Exchequer's little red book, little red case every year. But we're not told to be prepared for a new wave, be prepared for, like, we're telling us be prepared for disasters and natural disasters. That's something they didn't do before. But they're not preparing the human race. They should. The British government have been silent about UFOs. They've definitely been silent about abductees and sightings. But now, like the Congress meetings, they've even said the British people need to poke Parliament a bit and get them to come out and release what they know. They should tell the British public the truth. What about these poor people on top of mountains that they found skinned alive and missing, and bits on top of the roofs, cars missing? What about those? Those families deserve to know the truth.
Well,
So yeah. Sorry,
Jesse
Tony.
Ventura, when he was doing his show, exposed so many things in 2.5 years. I'm surprised they left him on that long, really. But you can't find any of his videos now. I was wondering if there's any way we could get them to put them back out. I don't know if the government just takes them and says, nope, you can't have them. What goes down? But he exposed FEMA camps. He exposed the HARP system. He exposed underground cities. And nobody talks about that still. Why? I mean, the government is planning, and the one person they interviewed, it was an old missile asylum, and they converted it into a base. And they said, well, when it happens, we're going to invite 10,000 people in, and that's it. 10,000 people. And Jesse goes, well, what about people after that? We closed the door. What are they talking about? What do they know? All right. They're saying if there's a war or disaster in the United States, they have a certain amount of people in there. 10,000 is a big number for the world and the United States. Don't ask me why. You could kill 10,000 whales, 10,000 dolphins. They're allowed to take 10,000 people. They like that number. So, but they said they'll let 10,000 people in, and then they shut the doors. So most of them are manned by that many people already. So why is no one even asking questions? I'm sure you have underground cities where you are around the world. We have ones that go across the ocean. So people, the technology we have, and it wasn't had to have a man with a shovel. They use a laser and blast out a circle. And there's no rocks to get rid of, nothing to get rid of. But if you went to Denver Airport years ago, when they were doing these underground cities under it, for miles there was piles of rocks that they brought out. Miles. So it wasn't just a little underground storage room. It was a long thing they were working on. So now they don't have to move rocks. And they could create a tunnel within seconds. Just blast a beam and it creates a tunnel, a circular tube, and then there's, what do you call it? Their subways are circular, and they travel super fast. So people, do you understand why they're doing it? Do they take people down there for a tour? Do they show anything about it to the U.S.? Anybody in the United States? Of course not. But again, Denver Airport, read Behold the Pale Horse. and he explained a lot about it. It's a base, and they plan on bringing the ships in there to clean them off and everything and all that kind of stuff. But it's going to happen soon. But the horse in front, every symbol, signal, the murals they had up there proved what they were going to do. And the New World Order, pertaining who actually runs them, actually have to tell the world what they do. And they do before they do it. So in Denver Airport, it said U.S. New World Order, and 2 years later, they took it out of the flooring. It was steel circle, about 35 feet wide in the main hallway where you buy your tickets. So they took it out and put a fountain there. People, are you watching why we would do things like that? Why would we prepare a space station for ships to come down on? I had a person on my show. I sent him a link this morning. He's a billionaire, and he's going to build a station for aliens to land there so they can communicate with our government. What makes him think they'll come down to his base to talk to our government? Really? People with money think their ideas are important. They are to them, but not to the world and not to us.
I mean,
And
people
aliens,
seem to forget that the aliens, they don't play by our rule book. They're not going to approach, hi, we're here from the planet Zog or what have you. Contact has already been made. They've been taking contactees. Once they communicate, we get close enough to an animal or species to talk, sign language, communicate, or interact with. That is contact. It's already happened thousands, if not millions of years ago. People need to wake up and realize contact to us does not mean it's the same thing to a different species.
all right, the reason why I put the title today, The Day the Earth Stood Still, if you never watched the original movie, watch it. Not the second one with Keanu Reeves, because that is so different. I mean, it's a great movie if you're not comparing it to the first one.
Yeah, I like the first one.
Totally different. It's not even close. But the first one, if there was good aliens, they would be doing something. All right? They would be warning us or making us do certain things. They wouldn't stand by and let us kill children, families, homes, cities, countries. They would do something. But if they're sitting back and watching, something's wrong. They're not caring people. If you were on a street corner and you see a little child walking into the street and the car's coming, you wouldn't just stand there and watch it? Or would you run and get the child before he gets hit? People, the morals that we have are pretty lame, but you think the aliens' morals are even close to what we believe? Oh, let them get squished. I could eat them. It's roadkill, and it's a good meal for today. I mean, their viewpoints are different. Their ideas are different. And they're not here to make friends with us because what do they need from us, people? Think about it. Our brains. Now, I'll tell you this. There was a video, a show online on the History Channel years ago, and they showed you this little island where they found 144 skeletons. Every skeleton had a circular hole in their skulls, and all the skeletons were in different sitting positions. How would that be possible, and why would they do it, and who and how could they do it? They didn't have the technology to do that to save a person. But I'll tell you what really happened. There's a crystal in everybody's brain, and they took these crystals and they knew everything about us. It's that simple. But they didn't find anything important that they needed from us. So why do you think they're here now and they're still coming after us? Food is the only thing that means anything to any race that's alive. They got to eat. Whether it's plants, animals, water, and stuff, it doesn't matter. Every single thing that has a body needs it. I'm not talking about demons, entities, and those words. And everybody assumes interdimensional being is spiritual. Why? Because they're coming from the astral plane here? Makes them spiritual? Show one spiritual thing that anything ever did for the United States or Russia or Germany or England.
People need to classify what spiritual is. Is it a being with a soul inside? Because some of these things don't have souls inside them. Where does that leave mankind?
Okay, here's the thing. A soul is what we are, all right? The human race I'm talking about. And we reincarnate over and over until we realize what we are, and then we leave. But alien races are reincarnating into human bodies now because they need that awareness to move forward. So all these people, I'm a walking, I'm this, I'm an alien, and all those ideas are coming from that idea of what happens. So, but they do have a form of a soul. It's not the same as ours because they're not aware. And it's basically, we're all light, we're all energy. So to tell the difference between one and the other is hard unless you understand colors and sounds and vibrations. But when you go past the physical world, the vibration changes. All the entities coming from the astral plane vibrate at a higher rate. Doesn't make them spiritual. But the definition of spiritual, and I hate to bring it up on the show, is only one definition of spiritual, people. One definition: being aware of a real God. Nothing else. Because if you believe anything else, Buddha didn't believe in God. All these other races talk about this. And I mean, the Muslims have what, 2.3 billion people on the planet, and they believe Gabriel, an angel, taught them. Now, we can go into all kinds of religions. I mean, Moses was a black magician, and they worship him. So our levels of awareness is limited, and the word spiritual does not exist here. And I'll tell you one thing: if a person, there's a word that goes with spiritual, it's called, okay, now people use the word and said, I went through ascension, but they don't know what the word means, and nobody on this planet today alive that I could say out of 8 billion people, maybe 2 people did go through ascension. If you go through ascension, it means you have abilities that nobody else has, which Jesus had. All right. But those abilities, people like Caroline Corey, oh, I could levitate, I can change people's DNA, claiming these things. She's not a god, she's not an angel, she's not a nobody. She's a person with a big ego, like most of these people are. So when we talk about spiritual, we don't use that word here. Tina doesn't believe in it. She doesn't have to, because nothing good or anybody, anything ever helped her. I mean, if you have an angel take you out of the car and stick you over there when the car blows up,
I must admit, Tommy's right. But we don't understand enough about death. There is something after death. Whatever that may be, we don't understand enough about it. In my experience and what's happened to me, losing my father and seeing my father, and I wasn't the only one to see him. We don't understand enough about how our souls work. Whether our body is a vessel, we have a spirit and a soul. Our spirit is who we are inside, or a soul, I don't know. We just don't understand enough about death. There was a gentleman who said that he died and come back and said, we got it completely wrong about death. He's probably right. No one's probably going to challenge him, but it's been my experience that there is something after death. What that may be, I don't know, but I'm not going to say it's spiritual because I don't know what it is. But there is something, but it doesn't make me a spiritual person.
Tina, I had 5 death experiences. All right. And I challenge 90% of those people that tell stories about their death experience, because that's the point when you leave your body and soul becomes aware. But when you go back into the body, the mind can't perceive what it experienced. And right away, oh, I met my mother, I met my father, I met Jesus, and I met God. All right. And what were you doing? What were you wearing? What did you look like? See, all the main things are dropped because the mind can't perceive it.
I couldn't even remember my name. When you go to cross over or leave your body, it's very black, and you get all I can say is it's like a fear, a primeval fear. And when you leave your body, you don't know your name. People says, "Oh, I know I didn't know my name. Didn't even know who I was. All I knew was the spirit I am inside this body now is who you are when you go through that tunnel. That's it."
Tina, I know you're not into certain things, but the most important word for people to learn is called astral projection. It's a starting point of being aware how to leave your body.
I'm thinking any more advice from you gets me in trouble with the people. It gets me in trouble with people up there. In trouble with people down here.
When people do it, you only have a short period of time. And if you're not with a guide, I call them an angel guide, whatever you need, you don't have any kind of great experience when you come back in your body. But here's the thing. I spent 45 years traveling out of my body and basically learning what exists beyond this when you let go of this physical body. And when you see your past lives, it helps you in this reality, because you don't have to go through all those experiences again. I don't have to touch the fire to know it's hot. I don't have to do this or that. But again, this whole thing about past life regression, I did it with people, and it helps them a lot. And that's why I can't wait for somebody to work with you on that, because you're going to see things and remember things that you don't. The mind doesn't remember or want to remember a lot of things, especially with the extreme pain and things like that. It hides it. I mean, a woman that gets raped or a child that gets abused, they try to hide that. I mean, it's always there, but it's not like they're going to look at it every day. They don't want to. But in hypnosis, you might find a lot of things you might not like, but obviously nothing happened that was good because you were taken on a ship and you weren't asked to go on there. You didn't ask them to play with your body. You didn't ask for any of the stuff that did. So it's not a great experience. So I could tell you, that's why I wanted to be there with you. I mean, I work with demons, spirits, and all that kind of stuff. And the hypnotists, if they're not at a level to protect you and them in the house or wherever you're doing it, anything can come in. And aliens have the ability to invade people's bodies as well. I mean, they could make you say whatever they want you to say as well, too, especially when your mind's at a state where it's not aware. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you get to do that soon. But again, I work with people doing it. It's never what you want to hear. Oh, I was the king of England. I was the queen. No, you're not. And usually you're the best you have ever been right now. Unless you were a killer, a murderer, things like that, you go backwards. But most of the time, soul keeps trying to move forward, meaning get over the garbage, get over the pain, get over all this stuff. But as far as aliens, they don't care about that. They told the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs that they were God. Well, their ruler, king. There was no such thing as a God. Man didn't know what the definition mean. Even when Jesus was here, he never used the word God because these people were fishermen or farmers. They didn't have any abstract of the universe and things. So he had to say father. They all knew their father was a man and he protects his children. So that's why all the ideas that man got was, oh, God would do everything for their children. So it's twisted. All our history is twisted all through time. But the truth is, until we become aware for ourselves that we have to move forward, not a woman, I mean, you got to get your message out while you're here. But hopefully you can move beyond that, because if you leave, you die, and you say, oh, I got to go back and tell the world about being abducted and come back again, it would be a sad thing because you'd have to go do it all over again. But hopefully you realize we're here to do what we can while we're here. And like they expect Jesus to come back. Why would he come back to a planet that would kill him if he did come back? I mean, mankind killed almost every spiritual person that came out because they're afraid of the truth. And the truth's not love. Oh, love is beautiful and the whole world's beautiful. No, it's not. We live in hell. We're violent. Never mind, aliens are 10 times more violent. So thinking we're moving forward, these dreamers, and let's talk to aliens and let's have a conversation about what? Tina. So I'll let you go into your book right now. We'll get into the other thing, but let's let you do that and then we'll use the other thing. All right?
So, guys, I finally, after 2 years, released my book called The Bonded, The Truth About Alien Abduction by T.A. Brad. That's me. It's come out this big. Amazon couldn't get it any smaller. They have so many problems on there. We figured it out, and that's the smallest they could get it. There's my logo at the back. It just contains a thank you, my investigative statement, and just literally what happened in my account. That's available now on Amazon and Kindle, and it's free on Kindle Unlimited. But you can buy it today, get it, and also while we're there, I have the other book. I have 3, but this is my second book. This is called. Well, this is my second book. This is called The Brotherhood of Night and the Guardians of Light, or The Guardians of Light and the Brotherhood of the Night. Fantasy book, a brilliant book, has a 6-star rating. And there's my new one. And I also have, there you go. Sorry, there's my new one. And I have one called The Checkpoint. So hopefully the Two-Edged Sword, part 2 to that will be coming out shortly. Hopefully sometime this year. You'll see me speaking at Watford, the Awake and Aware event, which will be happening this Sunday at Watford. So I'll see you there. Guys, please come along, buy a book. I'll sign it for you. You can have a picture. Also, the following Sunday, I'm in Southampton at a local book signing and a hall for some event for some local people. Monday the 21st, I'm at East Anglia UFO group, and I'm giving my lecture. So it'll be the true cost of alien abduction. And then on the 25th, 26th, 27th, I'm away at the Awakening Manchester. So you guys can come and see me there and get a book, come and get a photograph. I'll sign anything for you. Just come and say hello, we'll have a chit chat. But that's my book now. John, buy it on Amazon. It's on Kindle, and Kindle is free on Kindle Unlimited. That's it there. It's on Kindle. It's only £10. Grab it where you can. That is on Amazon Books. And I also have one called The Checkpoint. So all 3 books, if you just put Tina Bowden, will come up in the top 10. And I've got 3 of them there on Amazon for you. But yeah, my new one, get it where you can. It's taken 2 years in the making, guys. But yeah, there you go. The Guardians of Light and the Bond.
I usually don't promote my books because I give my first 2 books away. This is the first one, How to See God. All right. My second book is this, When Truth is Called Crazy. My third book is Truth Beyond the Illusion. All right. My most important book, and it's pretty fat. It's big writing though, but it's
wow.
All right. Well, so yeah, I got my 5th book done. I'm just trying to get it edited right now, but it's more it's for women only, so it's a little bit hard to get somebody to edit it because it's really hardcore. But people, I give my first 2 books away free if anybody wants them. But we're going to go into something that proves something to people, whether you want to believe this or not. Radioactivity is around us. It's around Tina more than anybody else, and we're going to prove it right now.
So, guys, I have an electrical magnetic radiation tester. There it is. Tommy advised me to get one when I have problems with my hair and nails and bits and pieces and teeth and what have you. That's on the back of it there. I got it on Amazon. I think it was about £18, £18 at the time. It's my second one. My first one, I think I dropped in the sink or I dropped it in some water or something. But I'm just going to turn it on there. And you just push it on there. There we go. And on the, I'm trying to get it right so you can see. But there you go. So Tommy has exactly the same one. And that says volts per meter there and micro Teslas there. And at the moment it says safe. I have what you call a thingy screen TV. So there you go. You can see it's not going off, not flashing. Tommy's is flashing. Because I have a safe screen, it doesn't give off anything. So I'm just going to, I've got the fan going. So I'm going to turn that off. Everything's off. So there it is, not saying anything. And I'm going to, I hate this thing. So I'm going to put it towards my head. Last week it didn't beep, but the numbers were going up, and as you can see, nothing. So we're going to go a bit closer.
All right. I want to show you something impossible. If you can see it, I don't know if you can see it on the screen.
6. That's quite low. Look at nearly negative reading, Tommy.
Well, now it's a
go this way
on the bottom of radiation, but I'm putting it on Tina's face on the computer. I move it anywhere else, it just disappears. So that's a strange phenomenon.
Last week it didn't beep, Tommy, and this week it is not beeping, but the numbers are there. But very low numbers. Normally it's like, if I just up that near the screen quickly, you can see it's
not as radioactive today? Wow.
It's not beeping, but it's saying safe. Normally it says harmful, flashes red and beeps.
See, the other thing about that, people, radiation does not go up and down. So for her to be really high one day and one not the next day is impossible. Ask any scientist.
2022 there.
If it can go up and down. It dissipates in 100 years, like what they got in these spaceships. And Mr. Musk said they're leaking radiation right now. His satellites, not spaceships. But people.
Well, there you go. So I think the highest today has been 28, and it's not beeped. It's been quite low, and it's 0.56. Normally it's
maybe
1,
that's
2.
It's been good today.
There you go. Yeah. Wow, that's good for me. I'm happy with that. And I'm just going to turn it off there. So there you go. But guys, get yourself one. I'll hold it on.
It'll help you when you go drive around town.
Yeah, get yourself one.
When I drive to town, it goes off about 2 different places. When I go to the main mall, we have 2 antennas there. One, it leaks radiation around the whole parking lot, the other one doesn't. So, people, it's great to know where it is, where you shouldn't be or where you shouldn't stay. But again, what you just saw is not possible. Ask a scientist, can radiation go up and down in a week? It can't. All right. It's not like she's going on a charge and the battery goes dead. No, it's nothing like that. Radiation is a substance that
Yeah.
lives.
If you can't afford to get my book, guys, I have these author's cards. I'd gladly sign one for any of you, but you've got to pay postage, unfortunately. So, John or anybody else, any of our viewers, if you'd like me to sign one of these cards for you, because I'll sign the front and I can put a little, like I sign the front with my signature, and I'll send it to you in the post quite gladly. I'll put a dedication on there. You just have to send me the money for postage.
If anybody's near me, I have 2 extra ones I could send to you as well for her. But people,
postage is about $2 to America. I think $2 or $3 to America.
we're at a place right now. We're dealing with a horrible situation, and nobody's facing it. We want to believe aliens are going to save us. It's like, oh, Jesus is going to save us. Moses is going to save us. Everybody's going to save us. Nobody's going to save us.
You're going to save yourself.
If we can't save ourselves together, we're not going to save ourselves separately. Yeah. All right. We have to respect each other, which doesn't happen. We have to honor each other, which we don't. So, and we expect to move forward spiritually or even at a normal, peaceful, loving way? No, it's not possible. Then again, when a race comes out and creates a God and everything else, and they believe it, we're further apart. Now, there's 2,000 races in the United States, in the world right now. 2 of them have the most population, Christianity and Muslims. They have 60% of the planet, but there's 2,000 other races on top of those 2. So, you could split them all down, Hinduism and all the other words, but they all have different beliefs. And very few of them talk about anything really important. God. Christianity does not. Muhammad and all those talk about angels. So we're at a place where, how do we get united? If you believe in Superman and I believe in the Green Hornet or the Riddler, how do you expect to be friends?
We believe in aliens, not because we know, because we've seen. That's the difference. Exactly. Knowing and seeing is the big difference, people.
Right. So we have to become aware soon if we want to survive. But I don't think there's too many chances for that happening, especially because of what's happening with our presidency. All right, the battles. You got 2 people running for president. They both should be offering something good for the people, which they don't. All right. Realize in the United States, the Constitution was not created for poor people. And poor people don't understand that. Neither do the middle class. Or they wouldn't be voting for the people that wrote for rich people don't have to pay taxes. The rich people don't have to do this. Why? They get the money to do it. A poor person that makes $11,000 a year has to pay more taxes than a multimillionaire. Does that make any sense? Wait, here's one other thing. You go for a loan for a car or a house. The poor person has to pay a lot of taxes, where the rich person doesn't. Does that make sense at all either? No. We got a horrible system, people, and we're more concerned about the passions, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, rather than truth and what's going to happen to our children. Everybody says, like Musk, oh, we got to care about our children. Yeah, well, what are you going to teach them? What school are you going to send them to? What are you going to make them become?
Teach each other and look after each other before you bring any more children into the world. But the human population
they don't teach.
With that, I am going to shoot off early because my dog wants some attention. I'm not quite sure what's
going on. Okay, Tina, it's always a pleasure.
Guys, I'll look forward to speaking to you next week. I'll tell you how Watford went and I'll tell you about the people I met there. We'll look out for the NASA disclosure, everybody, and their report, which I'm eagerly awaiting because they've been saying all along, no, there's no proof.
Before you go, if you want to do a live segment while you're there, just let me know when we can do it.
It's being recorded, so I don't think I can do live segments. But what I'll do, I'll
upload your cell phone. You can take out your cell phone.
Yeah. My PA will have a cell phone and should be recorded, and I'll upload it to YouTube.
All right, it sounds great, Tina. Have fun. We'll talk, and I hope everything goes good.
Thank you, Tommy. Well, I've been Tina Bird, and me and Tommy have been vindicated completely this week. I feel great about that. But for me, Tina Bird, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can buy my books now on Amazon. It's free on Kindle, Kindle Unlimited. You can get it on Kindle and on just £10 for a book. If you guys want me to sign one of these, I think it's about £1.50 in UK, £2 to send these now. And it's about $2 or $3 in the US. So let me know if you want one. I'll sign it for you, dedicate it, and send it over. But for me, Tina Bird, guys, I'll see you next week and I'll let you know how I've been. Tommy, take care. Bye bye, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye, John. Bye bye.
Bye, Tina. All right, Tina Bird, a great person. The only person I really trust in the UFO world right now that's talking about her experience, and it's not fantasy, it's not make believe. And she doesn't always get into the details, which should be in her book. I just started reading, I just got it. It's big. It's a lot bigger than I expected it to be, but it's cool. It's easy to read, and it's not long, so you could understand the whole thing in a day. So it's a good thing if you don't know much about abduction or anything, or even close to it. But people still saying they want to be abducted, they want to go on a ship. You don't. People say they reincarnated just so they can do that for aliens. Are people that disturbed? I guess they are, to say that I'm reincarnating so that aliens could abduct me in this lifetime. Really? Are you that programmed in your thoughts? You are, because you're saying that. So I've been in the UFO world lecturing with Sergeant 18 for years, and I met the coolest UFO people. Sadly, they're all gone. The few older people that are in the UFO world that weren't on the main lecture scene, I mean, most of them were writers, and they hid out in their home and stuff like that. But there's nothing good coming out, nothing important coming out. They're going to prove that the government was involved with spaceships. Well, Russia admitted it how long ago? I mean, so did other countries. All the other countries released UFO stuff 10 years ago. But that's not going to help understand what the government's really doing with aliens. What Truman decided and why they created MJ-12. But maybe next week or in between, I'll do a show just on the most important UFO story ever told, or never told, however you want to look at it. It happened in New Jersey, people, and it's still going on today. Now, there's a show on TV. I don't watch it. It's the Jersey Girls. Well, it makes people in Jersey look pretty stupid. It's a group of people. They travel and they do all kinds of things and everything else. But they're seeing the lights in the sky all the time, and they all think they're going to die. And that's for real. People, I only found that out today because I never watched the show. I said, they just make people in Jersey look stupid because I grew up in Jersey, people, if you didn't know it or not. But what's going on there, it was the most important UFO event that ever happened in the United States. So why don't they talk about that instead of Roswell? Roswell was one ship and what? How many people? So this, I'm talking about a whole city, what happened and what went down for 9 months. 9 months, not one day. All right, people, if you want the rest of the story, let me know. I'll do a show on it. And then to show you, I have a friend. I just put the paper somewhere. I think I put it away. Hold on. I did. But Edwards Air Force Base, when the ships were over that, I have the actual recording recorded by my friend that was in the tower when the UFOs were over it. It took an hour before they could get 2 jet fighters to come and see what the alien ships were doing. And when they got there, the ships just shot out into space. I got the whole tape. I got it on a cassette tape. I recorded it, but I can't find where I recorded it to. But maybe I'll just play it. It's pretty noisy. But they're in a tower in Edwards Air Force Base, and they're calling each person up to try to get the okay to get a rocket out, a jet to come out there. This person has to go to this guy to get clearance. That person has to go to that guy to get clearance. And finally, they said, well, we'll get 2 ships out there right away. And finally they did, which is 45 minutes later. And by the time they get there, they see these light ships, the lights just shoot out into space, and that was it. But the evidence is here. It has always been here. Just because you didn't see it. And that doesn't mean it's not real. You know, people say, well, nobody knows that. How can anybody speak what other people know or don't know? I'll tell you this. In my work, in what I did in all my life, I realized most people do not know much of anything when it pertains to ghosts, spirits, angels, deities, death, and reincarnation. Oh, God. All right. And nobody in the United States talks about God. I wonder why. We all talk about living in the moment. Oh, wow, I'm going to live in tomorrow. I'm going to live in yesterday. You can pretend you're there, but you're still in the moment, people. Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, Dalai Lama, the Pope, all these people that are considered the top spiritualist people in the United States cannot talk about that. Never mind, they don't talk about aliens. I wonder why. The Pope came out with his two people, whatever they're called, came out and said, we're going to teach aliens Christianity. Really? You think they want it? They eat humans. They're going to want to know what Christianity says? Really? People, we're in a real world right now. It could be, most people say, well, it's just a dream. I mean, some teachings are, this is all a dream. Well, it's a pretty sick dream you're living in, people. And if it is a dream, why not change it? If this is just your dream, change it. Oh, I can't do that. Because you can't, because it's not just your dream. Who's dreaming it? We all are. No, we all are not. People, I don't want to get into that, not on this show anyway. I want to keep it mainly back to aliens and what they're doing here. Nothing good. All these people I meet, hear, listen to, most of them aren't aware of anything, but the ones, whoa, oh yeah, they're friendly. Why are they friendly? Well, they show me other cities, they show me other world. Guess what? There's no way your body's going to travel at that speed or anything even close to it. And if you're talking about going on a soul journey, you're not going to do it with aliens. I've been there. I work with that level of consciousness, energy, and soul, and all that. It's different. They don't fit together. All right. Aliens aren't spiritual. They're not loving beings. There's nothing good about aliens that we need. They don't eat like we do. Greys don't eat like we do. They suck. They suck it through their pores, and they drink blood. They don't drink. They don't eat the bodies. When Phil Snyder went into that cave and they found, what is it, 14,000 skeletons? All right, they put the body in this vat, turn it into a liquid, and they drink it. I saw a video, and I'm not making this up, how they clone the Greys. The United States is cloning Greys because, and okay, this is the future, people. When the world becomes radioactive, the human race will be walking around like zombies until they die on top of it. All right, the underground cities will send out their Greys to do the rebuilding and refixing everything that's contaminated on the planet for a long time. It's going to take a long time for them to clear it up and fix it. But in the interim, there'll still be aliens coming down and playing. They want the world radioactive. Nobody's talking about those things. Well, nobody knows nothing. Nobody knows this. Nobody knows that. Yes, they do. The government can't talk about it. Putin talks about certain things. They're working with aliens. And what are they working with? Weapons and killing people? People, when the alien race works for the government, they're not working for the people. Understand that. And when it comes to people, they abduct people. They rape them. They use their body parts, and they take semen, ovaries, and their blood. That's all they want. People, be realistic. Don't go into dreamland and fantasize that everything's good. Everything's going to get better. Go to these conferences. Oh, well, this ship was spotted then. This ship was spotted then. Yeah, well, 1952, a fleet of ships were over the White House. And that was the year after the day the Earth stood still. And the day the Earth still showed that these aliens surround the planet and say, look, you got one chance. Lay the weapons down, change, or we'll destroy the planet. That was it. All right, and that was the end of the movie. But then you watch the movie V is the opposite. All these ships come around the planet and they pretend they're helping mankind move forward, healing a lot of people and doing all these things while they're building their city to grow these eggs to hatch them. People, the V, the original movie on TV series, it was, I think, 6 months, called V. You can watch it online. The truth's out there. And I listen to these people. I'm sorry, Richard Dolan and people like that. Lou Elizondo can't talk about the truth. Why not? Richard Dolan tells us what he thinks. Do we care about what people think? Ancient Aliens is the biggest farce out of them all. The pyramids are not helping us. They never will help us and never did. They didn't help the races that were there when they were inside them. People, why don't you wake up and look at, if you're going to look at something, whatever it is, even a car, a boat, a plane, a tree, look at it from the beginning to the end. How did it start? Who created it? What happened after? How long was it here? What did it do? Did it disappear? Is it still here? You're going to learn a lot more other than, oh, this is a car. It's beautiful. It runs by itself. Great. Why? How come? And what's it going to do? What's the future look like? You have to realize the whole picture. It's like looking at a puzzle that's maybe 1,000 pieces and you got 100 pieces. You think you're going to understand the puzzle in any kind of detail? Of course not. Look for the facts. Look for the truth. Dig through it. Find the rest, the beginning, the ending, why and who and how. What for? Is it really good? Trump thinks coal's a good thing to go back into. Really? He doesn't believe in global warming. And people want to vote for him? I'm not saying Biden's better. He's an old man. And he's going to get older. Another 4 years, he'll be over the hills, over the hills. He's getting there now. Sorry, Mr. Biden. But Trump's no better. And his ego in protecting and thinks he has the right to do whatever he wants because he was president. He doesn't. And he needs to learn that. And the people need to prove it and show it to him. Because if he becomes president again, there will be no stopping him. Responsible for deaths and looting of the White House and all those kind of things. And, well, let's make him president. Who's he going to write into the White House? Who'll write his armies around the White House? What do you expect, people? Where do you think we're going? I mean, we're going to a war. And who, Biden or Trump, are they going to help us with that? Either one of them going to go over there and fight for us? Of course not. Why is that? They'll send 17-year-old children out over there to fight while they sit in their protected little box. I always felt when you play chess, it's to take the king out, not the army and everybody else. And if you know about castling and stalemate or winning the game, it's when you take the king out. All right? So why don't we always take the person in charge of the country, not the people? These children that go to war. Vietnam was 14-year-old kids coming out of Vietnam. And we killed thousands of them. Isn't that great? Aren't you happy? And then we go back to the Constitution. Mr. Jefferson killed every tribe he could. And then he became president. Really? He was against the Constitution. He wrote the Patriotic Bill, and he did what the other thing was, but basically he was a killer, and he was bragging and promoting freedom. We have freedom, but we have the freedom to kill every native person walking the planet. If that's not sick and twisted, people, and we respect people like that, really, the Constitution turned down poor people, didn't help them at all. Even years later, after the 1900s, Native children were still being taken and put in camps and Catholic schools. Freedom to who? Which race? How many races came to the United States? Basically, the English, British, and the Spanish were the ones that were in control of everything. And why is everything in Spanish? Nothing's in Native. I wonder why. Nothing is in Chinese, nothing's in Russian. And all those people came into the United States. But what language do you think aliens speak? And how do they know everybody's language? I think you should be worried about that. How could they speak to my brain? What race are they? And they know everything. It's a vibration, so they can, it's like if you had a vibration scale, you can watch it on a graph, watch it go up and down. And they can do that. So with their brain, with their whatever you want to call it. I mean, I'll tell you this. When I go out to film UFOs, I go out on my deck, go up on my roof, and I see something. A lot of times I get to film it. Many times I don't. And the most coolest things that I see are usually blocked from being recorded. Why? I'll tell you. The ship's coming by. I slowly reach down, grab the camera, I bring it up to my face and it blinks out just like that. Not because of clouds or anything else. But also, I have this light ship that's been bugging me for 2 years. But I was watching that, and this other light ship was coming by. It was a white ball light, just cruising real slow, but real bright. I hit it with a green laser. It turned green. It stayed green for about 3 or 4 seconds, and then turned it back to white. And then I hit it with the laser again. It turned green again. And then I said, wow, I didn't record this, and then blinked out, just like that. So they have the ability to read your mind from way up there. So does that make them friendly? It makes them a lot more aware than you are, especially of what they're doing and what you're doing. People, we can go to these conferences, which I won't go anymore. I was invited to go to one in September up at Mount Shasta. But Laura Eisenhower's going to be there. I had her on my show, and I'd love to debate her again, but she's afraid to debate because she doesn't have the truth. Sorry to say that. Even though her great-grandfather, Eisenhower, was the one that helped fulfill what Truman created. He had to follow through with everything Truman created. All right? But I guess her mother said she's majestic and never talked to her much about what was really going on either. So that whole story is ridiculous. When you listen to the stories, they get more ridiculous. All right. I'm going to say, I hope you got something out of today. If you have questions, people, email me, hawksblood1@aol.com. I answer all my mail sooner or later, good, bad, or indifferent. I don't get many trolls. I did get 2 trolls over the past 3 or 4 months. But outside of that, I did the show for 12 years. We only had 1 troll in the 12 years that we did. All right. But again, a troll is somebody that's lost, wants recognition, and has no other way to get it. They do something really obnoxious. All right. With that, don't stop searching for the truth, because it gets more real the closer you get to it. It doesn't change. It's just that your awareness is changing to understand it. The truth will always be the same. The number one spiritual law that exists in this reality, meaning our universe and our galaxy, is a law of non-interference. Anything that goes against that is going against the spiritual laws that exist within our reality, meaning almost all races that are coming here. All right? They don't have the right to. I mean, unless we went and met them in space and said, okay, you can come to planet Earth, we're not inviting them. They're invading our space. When you step into somebody's space and say, okay, I'm blah, 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 you're invading their space, which is against spiritual laws. But people don't even know that, and they don't abide by it. So do you think aliens care about anything we know, perceive, or do? Morton, what about him? Sean David Morton? He's dying. I might try to get him on again. I don't know what I feel. It's so hard for me to deal with him because he's dying, and he fought so hard. They kept him in jail for 2 years while they tortured him and did all kinds of things, illegal things, and he can't do a thing about it because he was a sovereign citizen. He wasn't even allowed to get a lawyer in court. What they did to him, they railroaded him. He discovered Area 51. He brought people out there to see the ships land there every 2 weeks. The mothership come in. That's why the government was mad at him. They had to buy all that land around it and everything else, and all that went down. He did prophesize 9/11 in detail. I was in New York City in front of 250 people, maybe 300 people, and he gave the details of what was going to happen on 9/11, the actual year before it happened. Sergeant Latine, who I worked with, did all my stuff with, he also prophesied, but not in detail like Sean did. But the end result was neither one of them were there the day it was going to happen. I wonder why. If you got a prophecy and you don't change it, it's useless, people. Billy Meyer's prophecies of 100 things he sent around the world to every government, 90% of them came true. But so what? Oh, you're going to find this. You're going to see that. Almost anything you can perceive will be real sooner or later. They have a machine that could actually show your dreams, and they could record it. How soon before you can get one? Who knows? Maybe 25 years from now? Maybe 10 years from now. I mean, the wireless, the digital laser, what do you call it, keyboard is cool. Right now, I heard it makes clicks every time you touch it, though, which is probably annoying. But the technology is there. I know 2 years ago they said the new cell phone's going to have this, and it didn't. But it's there. It came out this year. So technology is moving, but it's always 25 years the least going back in time when it was created. All right. So if you think your technology is incredible right now, think what's going to happen in 25 years. Every 10 years, the whole planet takes a giant leap. Giant leap into hell, whatever, but it takes a giant leap. The technology, the weapons, and everything else changes greatly. But the only thing that changes is man does less. Man doesn't want to do anything. They want robots to do everything. When you get in a car, do you want to drive it or do you want to just sit there and get driven around? Become rich and get a chauffeur. You don't have to ever drive again. Most people, especially when you turn 17, want to drive a car. All right, the things we want are being taken away at a level where we don't even realize what we want is being taken away. Well, I got a car that can drive me where I need to go. Well, how important is it where you're going? So they got to bring you there. The car can just go there by itself. People, stay aware of what's happening. Listen to these speakers go on. Listen to Stephen Greer go on. He knows nothing about spiritual side, and he's talking about his out-of-body experience. Well, because you leave your body doesn't make you spiritual either, people. And you can do it from a very bad place, which I did. But I was shown good things from that happening. People, I'm as real as it gets. And I probably, and this is not ego. You will say, yes, it is. I have more experience from what I talk about than 99% of everybody else I ever met, ever heard, or ever saw. And I mean, all my teachers, I outgrew them. And a teacher's supposed to teach their student to outgrow them, or they're a useless teacher. Because when they die, you have to move forward. All right, people, I know you don't want the truth. Most people come and go because, oh, well, I don't want to hear that. I'm this, I'm that, I'm better, I'm all this. You can believe in your ego all you want. But when it comes to your deathbed and you're dying, you're going to ask an alien to make it better? Where do you think you're going to go? Oh, I'm going to heaven. Why do you think you're going to go to heaven? What are you going to do in heaven when you get there if you think you're going to get there? All these little things that people perceive. And when he talked about death experiences, which Tina didn't have in a good way, you'll see things and learn things that you can't learn on this planet. Obviously, like what soul really looks like at a higher level. But aliens aren't going to help us with any of that, people. They didn't help the Mayans, didn't help the Egyptians, and they gave them false ideas and teachings. Till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here. Please email me questions, Skype me if you want to talk for real. But you got to friend somebody on Skype, and then you could email me or talk later. People, enjoy your day, enjoy your night, wherever you are. Tina's in England, so it's nighttime there. But till next time.
Raise my eyes to the wild blue yonder. The cane beneath and it makes me wonder why it's falling